I've been asked to report on our finances because of about a year ago, we were in a rather desperate situation. I did reveal that I think at the closing of 2020, it was 2 years ago, that we were struggling. And we were concerned about the future of Leadership Fiji. What a difference a year makes. What a difference a year of freedom makes. And so within the last year, Shireen and her team have made a huge impact on that and turned things around. And I can say that our finances are very healthy. And I want to particularly acknowledge our partners, starting with Fiji Water, who are our major partners, our platinum partners, along with all the other partners I know our MCs will acknowledge as the night goes on. Thank you for your continuing support and your determination to make sure that Leadership Fiji can continue. We can now dream of bigger things, and we are now starting to actively look at our big dream, which is to open a leadership centre at some stage in the future. And that actually looks like something that could be a reality as we go forward. I want to also acknowledge that we are becoming busier and busier thanks to increasing demand for leadership training programs, and we've been running a lot of tailored leadership training programs, and we ran a lot last year. I think in total we delivered training to 7 different organizations, 252 individuals is the number of people outside of the core Leadership Fiji program. And that has also become an important source of revenue in support of our Leadership Fiji dream. The next stage of that is to deliver an executive Leadership Fiji program. And that's something that we would like to just signal to you all. We have had over the years a lot of requests from people who missed out on doing Leadership Fiji in their earlier parts of their Leadership Fiji career, who are now in senior executive positions and who can't commit to the kind of program that we're about to launch today, the fortnightly sessions over an 8-month period. Thanks to our experience with running tailored programs, we've figured out a way in which we can deliver something which will be aimed at senior executives, and Shireen will be launching that, and we'll be looking to launch that this year. If you have an interest in it, please go and have a talk to Shireen, and she can explain further. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to allow us to continue to spread the word of gospel of Leadership Fiji, our philosophy of leadership, across a much wider group. I've mentioned the Leadership Fiji Centre, which is our long-term goal, and I think we will be able to make concrete steps towards delivering that in the next year or so. This is my favourite time of the year. It's always a thrill to see the fresh faces of the new cohort and how excited they all are. This year's group is particularly exciting. We always aim for diversity. Diversity is a key element of Leadership Fiji and our Leadership Fiji programs. As I've explained to this year's group, learning for us comes at multiple different levels within Leadership Fiji. There is, of course, the exposure to a whole range of leaders from across Fiji and across the community who will be speaking to this year's group, and a whole range of experiences that will start from tomorrow. But I think perhaps the most valuable of the learning experiences comes from an unexpected source. It comes from each other, and the fact that people who would in normal life probably never even meet get forced together over the course of 8 months, get required to experience all sorts of, and I've been warning them, uncomfortable situations, as we like to say in Leadership Fiji. They form an extraordinary bond. And this year we have military officers, we have police officers, we have a traditional leader from Namosi, we have obviously lawyers, accountants, people from the private sector, quite apart from government, and from the not-for-profit sector as well, all coming together to spend this year together. And that will be huge, the learning that comes from that is really hard to quantify. It's hard to explain until you really experience it. So you are out for a really exciting year. I know you're a little bit nervous. That's okay. You went through a bit of an induction today where all the rules were let out. But the fun starts tomorrow, and it'll work out, don't worry. The other thing is that today we get to acknowledge our fellows, and we need and induct our new fellows. Now let me explain a little bit about this, because Leadership Fiji is not a one-year program. It is in fact a 2-year program. So in this first year, we get the cohort together in an organized and slightly disciplined manner. And we encourage them to carry out the first basics of leadership. And the first basic philosophy about Leadership Fiji is that leadership is about action. It's about solving problems within the community. It's about solving issues around us and taking action. And so they start with various projects out in the community, and we challenge them a number of ways. And then in the second year, that group goes out and they are required to take on a project all on their own, with no structure, no support from Leadership Fiji. They've got to go out and deliver. And that is much, much more difficult, as you will find out when we hear from Dr. Deepak and his team from 2022. I know you'll be impressed. I don't want to steal their thunder, but and I know the board, we're all super proud of what they've achieved. And we're thrilled that they're here today to receive their fellowship pins and be inducted as fellows. They're very deserving of it. Right. Now let me finalize by introducing Salote properly. Salote started off with us in those days. When she did the program, she was with Telecom Fiji in an HR role, as I recall. Was it marketing? Corporate communications, that's right. And then she moved into the area of HR and HR management. In fact, actually, I'm looking through across the HR industry in Fiji, and Leadership Fiji is dominant in this area. There are senior alumni all over the place who are taking up these kind of roles. But later, of course, she joined Maximize and became chief executive, and then now owner of Maximize. And we are super proud of what you've been able to achieve. Those of you who are not aware of Maximize, it has become really a mainstay of corporate Suva life now. Whenever there's a problem at corporate levels, they usually turn around and suddenly Maximize pops up as the problem solver, particularly in the area of strategy, HR, obviously, and people management. And Salote is the person they turn to. We're very proud of what you've achieved, Salote, and we're looking forward to hearing your words of wisdom as you greet our LF 2024. Salote.